everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of Doctor Strange Issue 2 2025. Ooh, that's kind of nutty and pretty much where we start off because we had that shit going on with Strange channeling kind of darker energies, so let us crack into this one. Magic is all about control in all its forms. The elf wizard Verboten. It is such an honor to meet you. The stories they tell of a wizard so wicked that the very mountains tremble at the mention of his name. The neophyte magician will work on attaining control. The master of the mystic arts will work on maintaining control. But for a sorcerer supreme, the next vital step on their journey is surrendering control. This is when things get scary. Yeah. Now, I'm partial to the black and red, but that looks really good. I'm really digging the art style here. It just really fits with the magical stuff going on. I remain unimpressed, but magic is at its most potent in its purest form, and that is what we strive for. My dark daughter, take his hands. Though these small surrenderings are not without their risk. Pay more heed to me, imposter, for my knuckles grow cold. Ha! My thanks, you have warmed them, as Angela just fucking punches the shit out of her just like with one thing. To wit, this is so exhilarating that I'm not altogether sure that I am in my right mind. Yeah, that's what you gotta watch out for, Strange. Oh, sorcerer, where have you been all my life? No mere scald you, no mere dilettante. Magic suffuses you. Magic is what you are. He's right. My atoms burn with magic. My cells are alive with this stuff. He falters, and I press forward. He weakens, and I grow stronger. He fails, and I am about to step into the trap he has set. So, he's like, ah, shit. And I really like the paneling that we get. We get the top page, and then we see it on Strange's face, and then he realizes it. Clever little elf, as we see that he does kind of like his scythe magic there. Not clever enough, alas. But fear not. While we make our escape, I give to you a present. A portal opens. And I am forced to reckon with a dragon. And that is a gnarly looking dragon there. It's like, oh shit. Enjoy. Angela, can you deal with this? As Strange pretty much lets go of the kind of darker magics that he's channeled. And we actually do learn more about it as it's linked to one of the items that he's using. Naturally. After eons in that coffin, I would have expected Verboten to be a tad rusty, a tad slow. Instead, he recognized the thin ice on which I had stepped and invited me deeper onto the lake. As we see Strange talking about this and Angela just beating dragon ass, I'm like, yeah. I'm not that well versed with Angela, but I really like what they've got with her here. To draw further on the bracelets of strife and regret would have caused irreparable damage to my very soul. So it's like, okay, these you have to be very careful with, Strange. He is dangerous indeed, but we see that the dragon's kind of racking on her, at least with one good hit. Of course, so am I. But then Angela gets the upper hand. Down, dragon! And it's like, oh shit, stay, Strange, have you recovered? Then transport this adorable creature back whence it came before I make it my pet. It's like, kind of already have. Now, the only kind of issue I have here is this, the ink is not as, it's kind of like faded a little bit on the dialogue there. That only mainly happens here, but other than that, still good quality. I do not give advice, Strange, okay? My counsel's not part of our contract. I am aware, but if I were to give advice, I would warn against using magics that leave you vulnerable. Thank you, Angela. She's right, of course. But the bracelets are a necessary tool, if I'm to face what's coming and survive. I just have to get used to their effects, that's all. I can handle it. It's like, okay. Sounds good, but it's like, oh, and I kind of really like Strange's, how Strange is drawn there. That's just really cool. We have to get to heaven. Regent Idle needs to be told about Verboten's escape. And my sisters need to be informed of their loss. Yes, they died well. I'm sure that will be a comfort to those who love them. It's like, you would think that Angela would be more receptive to that kind of phrasing for it, but I do like that she's like, nah, that's not cool. Since the Bifrost was destroyed, the journey between realms takes a lot longer, for those not able to conjure dimensional portals. This is my first time in heaven. It is not what I had imagined, so they might have to work a little bit more to make it make sense, since Strange and them can go. Maybe it's just, since Midgard has been cut off from the other realms, that might be because of, like, Dario's whole scald magic and everything kind of going on of fucking with Thor and all that. So I can accept that to a degree, but it's like, we gotta watch it. You were raised here. Let me see here. I did hit that. It is not what I had imagined. You were raised here, yes? Born in Asgard, raised in heaven, exiled to the end worlds by Odin the ever-petulant. Yeah, especially within his all-father kind of persona. And I like the portal there. So we'll have to see what the Wanderer is like. You have led an interesting life, have I, my queen? Don't call me that. Where's the actual queen? Where's Regent Idol? The regent is meeting with the Hierophants in the temple of the Anchorites. Ralia is with her. Ralia? Good. The warrior who attacked you, who killed those angels. You're sure it wasn't Ralia? She looked a lot like her. Oh, she was identical, aside from the pallor and the fact that she had no wings. I've known Ralia my whole life. This Dark Daughter is not Ralia. I did my research on the Anchorites. Male angels, a rarity, who exist solely to propagate the species, guarded zealously by the female angels and watched over by the Hierophants. They are both adored and pitied, and spend their lives on their knees, I imagine, praying for the souls of all angels everywhere. This is interesting. I didn't expect that this was kind of what was kind of going on. However, this makes sense as we continue on with this story. I imagine because only angels and Hierophants are able to physically enter the temple. Well, we see that is not completely the case later on. So I must wait and trust that Angela is diplomatic enough to break the news with the delicacy that is, you idiot! I told you, I warned you, Regent Idol. Open the coffin, chop off his head, close the coffin. Was that so difficult to comprehend? I fear that apparently it was, because he is alive and free and more angels are dead because of him. Mother. It's like, shit. Yeah, but he's threading a lot of political shit here, as even being the Sorcerer Supreme of Asgard. The other me you spoke of, what did Verboten call her? His Dark Daughter. I do not know of any doppelganger, clone, or evil twin that this could be, unless there's something my mother has not told me. Mother, you are my only child, Ralia, but as I thought, there's nothing but, Mother, what secret are you keeping? Oh, Ralia. This is an interesting kind of character that kind of pops up. I like how their speech is typecast. All parents keep secrets from their children. Such is the way of things. Not wrong there. Galeraphon, which is a pretty badass name. You know of Angela, of course, but allow me to introduce the Mortal Skald. How interesting. Is that a pilgrimage shroud upon your shoulders, sorcerer? It is. Fascinating. Galeraphon, please inform your fellow Hierophants that I've been called away on urgent. Fret not, I will convey your deepest regrets that you are unable to attend yet another conversation about energy usage in heaven. Was that a joke? Of a sort? Okay, listen, as someone that has to deal with certain kind of logistics and shit like that, I'm kind of like, I get his jokes. And like Angela asking, it's like, is that a joke or not? Or are you acting kind of? Forgive me, I'm unused to Hierophants who make jokes. I thought that wit was solely an angelic trait. We are a very funny people, but Galeraphon is not like the others, Angela. He has sided with my mother on more than one occasion. Interesting, that's giving us a kind of context onto what kind of relationship these two had. I find wisdom to be most persuasive. It's like, now, this is another kind of weird little thing. I'm not exactly sure who's talking here because it's not done in the speech kind of text that we've seen from Galeraphon beforehand. So I'm kind of attributing to him because I don't know where the fuck else who is like behind him or whatnot. What is genuinely amusing is how often you conflate panic for wisdom, my friend. So that's Galeraphon. They just didn't put it in the same kind of text bubble. Text type. Sometime soon you will count the steps you have taken toward progress and lasting change, and you will reckon yourself worthy of praise. I look forward to that day, Regent. I truly do. It's like, okay, see how that works. The throne room. I do not know who or what this Dark Daughter is. I do not know her purpose or connection to Verboten. But long ago, he asked for you, Ralia. Asked for me. And I like how we see the throne room, and then we kind of zoom into what's kind of going on, and then we see the black bordering the ones on the next page. I was among the angels dispatched to rid the 10 realms of the threat Verboten posed. I do not pretend to understand the mind of someone who would want to kill children, who would want to kill every child in all the realms, and mine was not the place to ask. That's a fucked up thing there. I had a mission, we all did, but my sisters fell, and I was all that was left. Verboten spoke, oh, how he loved to speak, and through my grief and my pain and my fury, I heard him offer me a deal. No, thank you. He would allow himself to be defeated in this battle, he said, in exchange for my firstborn child, to be surrendered to him when she reached 10 years of age. In my selfishness, I accepted his deal, and I gladly struck the killing blow, and trapped his body in the iron coffin. I would make good on my vow, I thought, but I would also prepare my fellow angels to dismember him upon his release. But Verboten's magics made those memories slip from me, even as I left the caves. 3 years later, I gave birth to you, Ralia, and as the years passed, I began to remember, but it's like, oh shit, this is really kind of fucked up. You couldn't bring yourself to do it. To my shame, no. You knowingly, willingly broke your contract, and we are learning that contracts are big things with heaven. I had to. Surely you must see that. I couldn't hand you over to anyone, let alone someone like him. I loved you, and I love you still, and that love, a contract, and to that love, a contract is but a whisper in a hurricane. Yeah. Okay. Like, yeah, you don't give someone to someone like that But of course, there are consequences. But even so, it was not an easy thing to live with. When you turned 10 and I actively, purposefully broke my contract, I spent the next 3 years torturing myself. You might expect it to become easier as time went by, but no. The conscience is a persistent adversary. I've only learned to view Regent Idol through these two, but I totally get that. And then the decision was taken out of my hands, because Odin banished heaven, cutting us off from Alfheim forever. So it's like, that does kind of throw a wrinkle into those things. You hoped. I hoped. Forever came to an end, and now Verboten is is alive once again. And I do like looking at the kind of shroud, how it's kind of different than the Cloak of Levitation. Forgive me, Regent Idol. As a mortal, I don't have the same principles as you. But it seems to me that Verboten spared you because maybe he recognized that you were the angel with the most love in her heart. He then gave you an impossible task, to give up a child, knowing full well that you wouldn't be able to do it. Verboten's scythe magic is generated from the lost potential of a thing, an idea, a moment, a person. His dark daughter. It's what Riley would have been if the contract had been honored. See, pretty much using that, he either gets the kid to kind of screw with it, or he's able to construct it from the lost potential. It's like, So all of this was so that Verboten would get an angel on his side, albeit a twisted one. But why? Surely there are easier ways for a wizard of his power to kill children. Are there any children here? In heaven? No. Not at the moment. We are some years away from our next mating season, Strange. What is it? There's still a way to take your children away from you. The anchorites. Go! Go now! I'll raise the alarm! And I love that as they have that moment of recognition, and we zoom in on Angela, and they just fly off to try and see what's going on. We passed guards whose memories had been stolen, but we were too late. I know that even before a mystical barrier forces me to wait outside while Angela and Riley fly on. I know what they'll find. So do they, as we see them impaled. Shit. Galeraphon, the anchorites. I know, we know, as Galeraphon's pretty much really paled through. It's like, oh shit. The anchorites were not the only targets. And then Stranger's like, oh shit, I'm not too late. I can't be too late. Of course, portaling out and seeing, but I am. That the Regent is dead, seeing Verboten and Dark Rylia there. The portal takes them away, and I'm left with yet another corpse of someone I failed to save. And all I can do is lie to myself and vow that this will never happen again. I get that, Strange. You try and do your best, but sometimes you get fucked over. We have a lot in common, you know. Devilishly good-looking, a scream at parties, and we're both in a way murdered our mothers. If you want to talk about it, just know that I'm here for you, as any father would be. She was not my mother, and you are not my father. Your words, they cut like knives. But I'm a fast healer. Now, before we kill all those brats, how about we bring my mother back to life so I can kill her all over again, eh? That sound like fun to you, kiddo? It's like, very weird kind of relationship there with Verboten and the Dark Ralia, so we'll see what kind of goes on there. I'm digging this. Next, Verboten and Scythe Ralia are in the wind, and heaven teeters on the brink of collapse after a devastating blow. Now Strange and Angela must defend Alfheim as a new threat rises, but can they find Verboten as the final pieces of a twisted plan begin to take shape? Also looking at Sorcerer Supreme issue 2 and Witch's Road issue 2. It's like, ooh, that's a nice cover there. Nice little thing. Oh, and we got a tease for Spider-Man. Venom, Death Spiral. Ooh, Guinness. Artwork there. Looks like, yeah, blood is thicker than venom. So, I enjoyed this to see Strange trying to deal with his new kind of tools and how they pretty much almost drew him out into doing a lot of kind of crazy stuff that he was able to rein it back in. It is interesting seeing his dynamic with Angela, where it's kind of like, okay, how is she kind of doing this? Giving some advice, even though she's like, that's not part of what I do. Trying to figure out how she kind of feels with, like, the death of angels. Learning more about the angels in heaven, how there are only so few male angels pretty much used to propagate the species, and that Verboten went to do that, take them out to take out the ability for them to have children, and of course taking out Regent Idol for reneging on her deal, and also because she would be the most fervent in taking his ass out. I really liked seeing like Galeraphon and learning about like she was supposed to give up Rylea, but she's like, I'm not doing that. It's like, yeah, you made the right choice. But the thing is, whatever choice you made was going to screw you. You give her over, she becomes a twisted kind of angel for Verboten to use. You don't give her over, that's the lost potential that he's still able to use. It's like, he screws you either way. So, and then seeing how he is attempting to actually be a father to this Dark Rylea, and not being completely nonplussed, being like all right with her, kind of like wounding him, especially since his whole deal is trying to kill all of the children in existence. But I do like that kind of juxtaposition, that kind of hypocrisy of him, of like he has a bad relationship with his mother, and it kind of taints him like, I want to kill all the children, and of course generate as much kind of magic from that as possible because of his scythe magic. But then he also wants to kind of have that connection with people. We'll have to see how that kind of works out, and what more of his plans are going on. So that was really kind of cool. There's a little bit of stuff that I want to hit on for news. We've got the X-Men's like massive April 2026 lineup is like, we've got an Uncanny X-Men annual. Let's see. Focusing evidently on from the pages of the Dark Artery arc, who are the Regulators, the turn-of-the-century mutants who once called Haven House their home. Going into that, we've got Cyclops 305, Generation X23. That seems to be going on there. Let's see here. Inglorious X-Force. Magic and Colossus, issue 3 of 5. Moonstar, issue 2 of 5. Rogue, issue 4 of 5. Storm, issue 3 of 5. Then we get, of course, the Uncanny X-Men 2 issues there. Wade Wilson, Wolverine going on, 2 issues as well. X-Men 1 issue looks like. Doing stuff with like the Danger Room. X-Men United issue 2. There's just a lot of stuff kind of going on with there. We'll hit that eventually, but evidently there's a lot of big things kind of going on there. We also got news that Norman Osborn trains the Spider-Verse in Marvel's Wild New Spider-Man mini, spinning out of the current run of Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Versity, a 5-issue limited series by Jordan Morris, Joe Kelly, and Perry Perez, launches in April. Let's see. Here we go. Learning to Crawl. Miles Morales, Spider-Gwen, Silk, Arana, Spider-Boy, and Spider-Girl have one thing in common. They aren't ready, according to former Resolute Spider-Man Norman Osborn. So he and Spider-Woman are going to train them to meet the next threat. The only way the Green Goblin knows how. Because the next threat might well be the Green Goblin. It's like, I was not expecting that. I'm like, we'll have to see how that kind of goes. Oh, there we go. That's a better kind of one. It's like, I was not expecting this with kind of Norman. And of course, how the spiders were like, screw you, Norman. Let's see here. Then we got this. I didn't expect that they were going to pretty much hit it like this to kind of spoil what's kind of going on with Death Spiral. Spider-Man becomes Spider Carnage. Marvel's Death Spiral ends with a jaw-dropping twist. Let's see. This April, Spider-Man issue 27 brings the shocking finale of Amazing Spider-Man Venom Death Spiral, and with it, a transformation that could redefine Peter Parker forever. Titled Introducing Peter Parker, The Amazing Spider Carnage, this issue promises a moment fans won't stop talking about as Spider-Man does the unthinkable. Of course, bringing off the Hulk crossover that we're kind of going on. Written by Joe Kelly with art by Ed McGuinness. Amazing Spider-Man issue 27, Legacy 992. Lands in comic shops on April 22nd, closing out the Death Spiral with a jaw-dropping twist. And this is what it looks like. I'm like, Eddie being Venom, not Venom, Eddie being Carnage because of what was kind of going on with Venom. And like, okay, this, I don't know. I'm like, this is going to be kind of weird and could go a lot more wrong if not executed right than right. However, I've been liking what's been going on with Spider-Man so far. I've liked Joe Kelly's run on it, and I had a fun time with. I like Zeb Wells' run on Spider-Man. So I never thought I would like Norman Osborn as supporting cast for Spidey and being like an ally for him, and they were able to do that. So I'm like, okay, let's see what's kind of going on here. If Peter can have any kind of tempering influence on Carnage whatsoever, if Carnage could actually teach anything good for Spidey, maybe in like wrangling bloodthirsty motherfuckers, I'm more on the like, this could go a lot wrong, more than this could go a lot right. But I've liked what the creative team's been doing, so we'll have to see what kind of works out on this. We also got like some solicits for like Weapons of Wolverine and Captain America 9 through 10 for like April 2026. Let's see. Issue 9 of Captain America. After discovering how far Salvation's true Latvian insurgency is willing to go for power, Captain America goes rogue, throwing in with the Latvian liberators to take down Salvation before he can become the next Doctor Doom. But Salvation is prepared for Steve's next attack, and his new ploy has heartbreaking consequences for the team. I really like that cover. And Captain America Issue 10. A shocking betrayal leaves Captain America's S.H.I.E.L.D. team at odds, just in time for Doom's ultimate weapon to be dragged into the light. But it's not what anyone thought it was, and as an all-out feeding frenzy ignites between Salvation, Red Hulk, and S.H.I.E.L.D., it's up to Steve to get his hands on the weapon before it's too late. That sounds pretty interesting there. And let's see, Wolverine Weapons of Armageddon, Issue 3 of 4. The shadows of David Colton's past are collapsing over Wolverine. The high-risk hunt for the newest weapon comes to a head as all the players are on a crash course with each other. Armageddon is coming, and no one is ready. In the words of Nuke, give me a red. Okay, now we'll talk about that also later on. But those are just some of the kind of new news stuff that have popped up, and I kind of wanted to do it here with Doctor Strange. So those are my opinions on the news and the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.